I think that's the first thing everyone heard, is that you can pretend that you're an adolescent.
Oh my God, are we live?
Yes, we're back. We're back. We're live. We're back on another exciting episode of Starfleet Boy, where we have a casual and informal conversation about Star Trek.
Might not be exciting. You say exciting every time. They might not be exciting. Change it up. Change it up. Sometimes they're interesting.
Wait, what's that? You cut out.
What do you mean I cut out?
I couldn't hear you for like a whole 5 seconds.
Really? I said you always say that we're back on another exciting episode of Starfleet Boy, but maybe it's not exciting. Maybe it'll be boring.
Yeah.
You don't know that. Maybe it'll be just an interesting one.
Like this episode of Lower Decks.
I don't know anything about what you think. You've seen my reaction.
I know.
You may have heard some of my thoughts with PJ, but I don't know anything about... I don't even know if it's you because you've deactivated your camera. This might be a pre-recorded thing.
This could be the AI version of me. This is a Starfleet Badgie.
Hey, Chris.
Hello, Chris. Welcome to the stream. Let's just get started. First, I want to say a few things, though. One is congratulations to Kowalski for hitting 20,000 subs.
Yes, I didn't know that, but I told him pre-release of the video, I said, this is the video that will get you to 20K.
Ooh.
He can testify that.
Can you predict what video will get me to 20K? Can you do that? No, I'm just kidding.
the striptease poker game.
Oh, okay.
At Starfleet Boy After Dark. When you invite the cast of The Next Generation.
They're never gonna do that. That's never gonna happen. I'll never have 20,000 subscribers. Thanks.
Oh no. Of course.
But anyways, hashtag Bear Pack. I am a member of the Bear Pack. So are you, Sean? Do you want to be a part of the Bear Pack?
I love Shax so much.
I know.
Am I capable of being part of the Bear Pack?
Yeah, you
can handle it.
Yes, you can. You can do it. You can do it. Try it out for a little while.
Try it out. Just give it a test. I'll be part of it.
Audience, if you're watching this live or on the replay, please, when you congratulate Kowalski, do the hashtag Bear Pack so that he knows it's from.
Do us. Hashtag Bear Pack and also hashtag Trick on the Tube told you so. That it was the video that would get you to 20K. That's
like that's quite... Oh yay, Father is here, and he says it is always exciting, and Sohail's always excited and is infectious. Thank you, Father.
Father is like the best. He comes to everyone's live streams.
Thank you, Father.
He takes the time out of his day to come say hi at everyone's live streams. Thank you. You're the best.
You're simply the best. You're better than all the rest. Do you want to do the episode summary for?
I can wait.
It's called Terminal Provocations.
Terminal Provocation. The USS Cerritos. Is this my background sound? I feel like I'm on the Warm Blanket podcast. The USS Cerritos arrives at a space junkyard, and they're trying to basically get Federation or Starfleet junk back from junk scavengers, which are guerrilla people. They want to take the junk for themselves.
The computer put up this thing that says animated series tie-in. The NCC 501 Antares, the robot grain ship from the animated series, and
yes.
George Hildebrand.
Wait a minute. I've got to nail this because I know how to say it. I've got to nail it though. Wait a minute. Jörg Hillebrand.
That's great. It's a beautiful sounding name.
It's Jörg. That's it.
Jörg Hillebrand. Got it.
There's people outside.
Oh wow, this is a
I
dropped.
I asked him how to pronounce his name because I mentioned him once because he's been doing great Twitter jobs, a great job on Twitter. So I said I need to know how to pronounce your name, and so he like spelled it out phonetically, and I was like, wait a minute, let me just try this. Let me try lay some Viking on you.
By the way, I forgot to tell the audience that I will be doing less of the talking tonight because I'm under the weather.
I'm in control.
Also, if you hear a sound that
I'm the
sounds
captain now.
yes, it's true. If you hear a sound that sounds like suckling, I'll try to mute it as much as possible. It's because I have a lozenge in my mouth. Do you know what a lozenge is, right?
Yeah, it's those little thingies that takes like candy, but they actually kill you. Yeah.
This one's really good. It's Manuka honey, which I think is from your
represent.
Yeah, so I'm suckling on it. I'm suckling on a product of New Zealand.
It's the best flour, and it produces the highest quality honey. Boom. How do you feel about that?
Nice. Well, it's soothing my throat.
I always buy a pot of Manuka honey. I always have a pot of Manuka honey at home, and whenever I feel a little under the weather, I have a cough or a sniffle, I eat one full spoon of Manuka honey, and then I'm healed. It's
really good stuff.
But it's magical. It's just anyway. It's all. The USS Cerritos is. Everyone's seen the episode. Let's do this quick. The USS Cerritos is basically challenging space scavenger crew for the rights of ownership of like some 100-year-old junk. All the while, a million other plots happen. Tindy and Rutherford go to the holodeck because Tindy wants to learn how to spacewalk, but they get attacked by a Starfleet logo insignia, a badgie that comes straight out of the bloody 90s.
Badgie is nightmare fuel, as Kowalski likes to say.
He becomes insane and tries to kill them. He's always saying these horrible things. I'm going to rip off your arms. I'm going to drown you in your own blood. I'm going to burn your heart. Mariner and Boimler in this very first time, actually, they're like legit friends, and there's no like bad mouthing between them. They have this third friend of theirs, which is called Fletcher, which is a man I despise greatly. Which is he's kind of like a do-gooding douche, but kind of not. Anyway, he's like the lower decks of the lower decks. He's causing mischief in the sense that he tries to get smart. He's a bit dumb. He's a bit dull, and he tries to get smart by hooking himself.
He's like extremely, He's like exactly what's wrong with. He's a dullard. It's true.
He's a bit slow, right?
He's exactly what's wrong with Fletcher.
he tries to hook himself up to one of the things from the computer, like one of the computer cores. Tries to go smart, but he doesn't get smart, and the computer core becomes an AI, sentient kind of.
He gets fired. I hate Fletcher so much. He gets fired, and I was so happy.
I was like, I hope this guy never shows up on. I don't care how. I was like, they fire him, they kill him, he just disappears. They stop animating him would have been fine. I don't care. Just I didn't want to see him anymore. I was like,
I thought the 6 days later we were going to be on the Titan and we're going to see him. Like, it would have been cool.
I wanted a cameo Riker just yelling at him.
Yeah, yelling at him. That would have been really cool. Fletcher, get off the.
Anyway, Fletcher saves the. No, Mariner and Boimler save the day by sending the AI beast into space, which destroys the space scavengers, and
everything's solved. Yeah.
Thus concludes the million plots that were going on at once.
And then it resets the holodeck, which means they're safe as well.
But not really. Because I feel like Badgie will come back. Maybe in season 2, not season 1, but Badgie's not gone. And I feel like eventually we need a Badgie Moriarty team up.
The Sleepy Trekkie, hello and welcome to the stream, is absolutely correct. Badgie is a ripoff of Clippy from Windows. What was it? Windows 95 that he was born. Clippy. Do you remember Clippy? He would write it. He would like come up on your screen and help you.
You know what? I was born in '92, which means that he was basically he was around kind of before I started using computers.
Oh.
But by the time I started using computers, which was quite young, um, to be honest, I didn't really access I didn't have access to the internet, that kind of stuff. So he was my game
Many of
for,
my
for like
many
a
of
few
my
months. He was my game. I would go
I
onto what
love
was it?
that.
You would go onto Microsoft Word or something,
Yeah.
and I would ask him questions and stuff because he had these little animations, and I know he annoyed everyone. He annoyed the adults that were professionals, right? That were trying to do something, but I wasn't. My entire goal was just to see him do goofy stuff, and I liked Clippy, and I thought it was fun. So I don't have horrible nightmares about this thing.
I was only privy to Clippy because of my clients, my computer people clients, because I personally uh, was using a Mac in
Well,
19.
you're a Mac man.
I was, yes. I still am.
You still,
I'm
you
debating
still
getting a
am.
PC. I feel like I have to get a PC just to play Star Trek online and be on Twitch because I can't stand it anymore. I love all the videos that I just want to play. I want to play Star Trek online. And now they'll probably have
I
a
tried.
Cerritos.
I think that if I retry Star Trek Online one day, it would have to be a company. Like I'd have to have like Kowalski or someone hold my hand and really teach me how to play it because it's not that I'm bad at video games. It's just that this one, I was just like I don't understand what is fun.
There's whole ships that are naked, is what he told me on Drunk Space Nine, if I recall correctly.
Oh, here we go.
So if you don't understand what's fun, you probably no, I'm just kidding.
I mean, maybe there's a few introductory missions before you get there. Maybe they're open. It's like Star Trek Online. Would you want the nude version or not?
All right. We talked about Fletcher. We talked about
Ruben,
Badgie. Ruben's here.
why are you here? You don't even watch the show. Be gone.
I'm glad he's here. You can he can play Star Trek Online using GeForce Now. I don't even know what that means. What's GeForce? Like a graphics card?
I feel so old. He's older than me.
Krypton Max.
Why is he saying these things of the youths?
I
Stop
don't know.
speaking like a youth.
Office 97 killed off in 2001. So basically when I was in high school. Yeah, Clippy. Rest in peace, Clippy. Clippy and
I
Badgie.
was 5. That's amazing. I may have started computers too soon.
I started computers at a very early age. Ruben and I, actually, if I'm not mistaken, took the same we've known each other that long, and I was in the second grade, I think, and there was a computer lab that they did after school, and we did things like program in BASIC and stuff like that. It was really neat.
Oh wow. Well, you're all intelligent. See, I'm a bit more like a Fletcher.
No, I'm just as slow as you, believe it or not. I only look intelligent because I wear glasses.
Fletcher's not the only one that's slow in this episode because bloody Badgie is slow as hell to load. He's got these loading problems,
There's a lot
so
of slow,
he's
a lot
a
of
bit slow.
We also got to meet. You didn't mention we got to meet Delta Shift.
We got to meet Delta Shift. I hate them. I really do. They are animated and visually like they were made.
I feel like that's the Starfleet Boy After Dark is Delta Shift. it's like,
I've never met them.
Yeah,
I've never met Starfleet Boy After Dark. Oh, dear God, I hate them so much.
Just kidding.
We love you all. Yeah, the Delta Shift was a bit. They animated. I don't know. They did something. Maybe it was their eyebrows. They were always. I don't know. I didn't like them. I don't like them. They're not my shift. Hashtag not my shift.
I kind of felt for them a little bit when they kind of. First of all, it's a nice reference to Jellicoe, right?
It is. It is. That's what it is.
And then the other thing I liked about them was that they at the end of the day, it was Fletcher. Fletcher was the real bad guy all along, and he was just creating this any way to get the heat off of them. And at the end, they were kind of like friends a little bit. They were like, "Hey man, we were at that Cha Cha or Choo Choo concert too." Choo Choo. Which what were they called? The sisters? The
some random.
I have in my brain.
Everything is the words that these people come up with when they're writing these shows. They're nonsensical. The Zoe belong, something
The
like that.
Zoibalon, yeah, it was the Zoibalon sisters. That's what it was. The
Isn't
Zoibalon
it
sisters.
something
I love
something
that
to
we
that
didn't get to
effect?
see them. He's like, not
No,
much.
of course not.
Ruben, Ruben is 100% a Delta shifter, by the way.
Hey,
Hi, Shan girl. How are you? Welcome.
I recognize these are all these people that dropped by my stream earlier this morning.
Sean has been live for like 20 hours, guys, by the way. He has like the lower decks. He has like when their eyes
I,
get, like
I
dark.
go to work. I go to work for like 9 hours. I come home. I watch Lower Decks. I go live with PJ. Right. I watch all of the panels. I go live for the. I take a nap. Go live for the. Go live. Anyway, it's
You're the
mayhem.
most live person I've ever met in my life. It's very cool.
Get
I
live, people.
appreciate it. Get live. Ooh, I like that. Get live.
Get live.
Which, by the way, something that you started, at least in my
I'm
universe.
gonna replace Make It Show. Make It Show sucks. Make it live.
Get live. This is just like Captain
live.
Queen's trying to
Get
find her
live.
catchphrase. We're always trying to find our catchphrase. By the way, Make It Show is a great, and the full hashtag, by the way, is Make It Show #1, because that was how it was. I was like, Make It Show #1.
Get live, motherfuckers. That's the
one. We, that means plural. You're watching with a friend or someone. That's cool. We're being watched by more than one person.
Maybe
Or
it's just we, the general audience.
What's known as the majestic plural, I think.
The majestic plural?
Yeah, I think that's when you
I like that.
In the royal we.
The majestic plural. I like that. I think that the USS Cerritos and Captain Freeman were wrong. There you go. Controversy.
What do you mean?
I think, and I addressed this on the PJ conversation, I think that they're wrong to not let the space scavengers take the stuff. It's been lying around for 100 years. Who cares if it's got your name on it? Naval maritime law indicates that if the shit's been floating around, you're allowed to salvage it.
My guess is that it's in Federation space, because if your shit's been floating around in international waters, you can salvage whoever comes first. But if you're
wait a minute,
if your shit's in like British waters, the British Navy has the first dibs on it. For sure.
The Federation plants a flag on every rock they find, and then it just expands.
It's a huge space. Have you seen the map of the Federation?
I have. They don't even have planets in half the thing. It's just blue. They just painted everything blue, like it's all ours. That's not fair.
Unless
it was a shipyard.
It's a gray area.
Junkyard. Okay. Unless it was a junkyard that now like no one's taking care of it anymore, but it's just sitting there.
I think what it was is I think it was like one of those depots that we saw in TNG. Remember in
there's one in TNG. I think there's one in Voyager too. There's like always someone that takes care of it, right?
Right, like
there's some scruffy old guy that wants to exchange shit.
Yeah, and there's like all kinds of weird underworld stuff going on, which was kind of cool that TNG hinted at that in that episode. Nice. I say that whole thing we'll have to make a poll on Twitter or something, because I think that you're wrong. I think and I love that Captain Freeman tried everything she could. That's one of the things that was a highlight of this episode for me, was that like at the end, and she's even like, I've been like diplomatic, I've been this, I've given you every opportunity. And then what's hilarious is that she's like, all right, Jax, target the warp core, and then the freaking like the weapon systems are offline.
I love how she's tried everything peaceful.
Yeah,
and then she goes to 1,000,000% and she's like, target the warp core. You could just disable the ship.
That's disabling the ship. Targeting the warp core might mean
the warp core.
It could mean I know what would happen. Shax will blow up the ship, but it could also mean that you send a really precise and you could modulate the phasers, an EMP, or like you could modulate the phasers to fire at a low enough energy where it just creates a power surge on the warp core, hence disabling it, hence stopping all power on the ship.
Sleepy Tricky says there's no international space. I think the closest thing to international space, unclaimed space, like I don't think there is unclaimed space. maybe there is. Like if no one's been somewhere, but I highly doubt. The closest
Yeah,
thing was
outside of
like
the borders
a
of
neutral zone, perhaps.
the neutral zone is I think the way that it works in Star Trek, if I'm not mistaken, I don't know if this is explicitly written anywhere, is that
Actually, the neutral zone must belong to like either side must have half of the neutral zone. It's just that they use a buffer area, I suppose. So half of it belongs to the
yeah,
Federation,
there's like
half of it's Romulan, but there's a buffer. But the neutral zone doesn't exist anymore. Seven of Nine got rid of it. No, I'm kidding.
and there's trade that goes on between the Federation and other territories. So like I think the Romulans are pretty much the only ones that are prohibited from entering Federation space, if I'm not mistaken. And maybe the Cardassians. No.
Ruben says I'm secretly a Romulan spreading anti-Federation propaganda. Why would you think such things? No.
Chris says, who thought that the comm badge on the holodeck was odd? I definitely thought he was odd. He was scary AF. I loved how tractor beams were used in this episode. So going back to the wreckage, which we were talking, Captain America. Look at
He's
that.
my captain. I had to buy a miniature Chris Evans to feel good in my life.
Is that actually the Chris Evans one? Here,
it should be. His nose is a bit destroyed because Jana ate him. Baby on the Tube ate him, but
look at that.
It's America's ass, people.
It is America's ass. Oh my gosh. Anyways, you're wrong. You're wrong. The Isolinear core monster.
Yes.
The Fletcher monster.
Rawr. It was
or as I like, the crazy demon AI.
The crazy demon AI. Was this their take on Cthulhu?
I think so. I think this was a nod to
this
Cthulhu.
was this episode was their take on everything. Everything that exists in Star Trek, they did it. Shit got really
They even managed to get another location through the holodeck very cleverly. I wanted to give
they got the Bajor.
I want to give a shout out because freaking Bajor was in it, and we got to see the Bajor marketplace and the temple steps, which are insane. Like, it's true, because like there are temples like that on Bajor that are up on these like Mount Olympus, like hills and stuff like that. Can you imagine being a Bajoran monk and having to climb those steps every day?
Yeah, and who do you meet up there? Bloody Kai Wynn? Nah. Don't even bother. Don't even bother. What the hell?
What do Vedics get to beam down? Like, is that what happens? Like, there's
some Vedics beam down, but the Vedic, what is he? Vedic Barile? He's too faithful. He doesn't do that. He walks up. Every day he goes down to market. He comes up and he buys 3 eggs, and then he walks all the way back up the stairs to do his morning omelet.
The holodeck was used really well in this episode for that reason. I thought it was like a seamless, like it had a nice feel of like you were on another planet.
I also liked the storm at the end. Like everything's glitching, badgie glitches, and every time there's a lightning beam, right, or it strikes the ground, and then you can see the actual holodeck grid when it hits the ground. It's done very clearly. It's done kind of the same way. There's that episode where Worf and his brother are displacing people. They're moving people. It's basically insurrection, but in an episode. They have to move people around.
Oh yeah, you're right. That's right.
And there's like this storm.
We talked about that one. That's right.
Yeah, we did a conversation
Paul
about
Sorvino is in that one. Yeah. Speaking of Worf,
he's a bad dad.
Shax and Worf are similar.
Shax kissed Dr. Tana.
Tana. Yeah.
And at first I was like, okay, it's one of those like kind of spur of the moment kisses.
Like, I'm happy.
But the second time I watched it, she clings her arms around him and doesn't let go. So are they in a relationship?
They might be. Who knows?
Do they have
Could the scar on his face have come from Dr. T'Ana?
Oh dear God! Wow. So Nick Fury got his eye scratched from a cat.
Right.
And Shax is the same thing, but it's the cat in the coat. Is that a reference to the Cat in the Hat?
I think it is a reference.
Okay.
There's so many references. By the way, did you catch all the references in all your live discussions today? Like I feel like you should have, right? Like you should have a huge plate of. Is it?
There was a lot. There was a lot.
I was delighted by the
Sulu maneuver. Kissing a cat on the mouth is gross. Yes. Yeah. Well, there was 3 mentions of. Well, there was three mentions of Q. The word Q was pronounced 3 times.
I have to say, I've never kissed my cat on the mouth, just on the top of his head, and sometimes when he lets me, I kiss his belly.
Do you know who Joe Budden is?
Joe Biden,
not Joe Biden. Joe Budden.
No,
he's a rapper. We'll get into this after. This is not this. This is something else.
All right, we'll get into this after. Ruben says that Alexander owns a fetish shop where he dresses as Kalis and spanks naughty patrons. Who's the warrior now? What is this? Is this a Lower Decks plot idea? Is that what you're doing, guys?
I mean, I believe you because Alexander is he's one, screwed up kid.
He is screwed up. Hey, why does it? Hey, wait a second. Hang on a second. I have participated in. I'm an ally for the BDSM community, and just because you have a fetish shop, and and you dress up like Kalesh to spank naughty patrons, doesn't mean you're necessarily from a screwed up. Although it is true that Alexander is from a screwed up upbringing, but still, it doesn't necessarily mean that these two things. Alexander could be well adjusted and still do that.
Fair enough. I think it's the Kalish thing that because I don't have any particular fetishes for anyone that's interested, but I don't.
Thanks for letting our audience and me know.
I don't particularly care if anyone else does. It's just the dressing up as like a famous.
You kind of like say that you don't have a fetish, but I feel like you dress up like you dress up like canon cop. You like dressing up. I think you're a cosplayer.
Yeah, but I wouldn't do it in a sexual manner.
Oh yeah, that's right. Like in a kinky
what I mean?
You don't dress up like for canon.
I have more understanding for like the I suppose like the spanking aspect or the handcuffs aspect of it all. But like if you were to say, ooh, dress up as Bill Clinton, I'd be like, what? You know what I mean? That I don't really get. Or I don't ask you to dress up as Mike McMahon. You know what I mean? I love the show, but
I could dress up like Mike McMahon.
Vanilla on the tube.
I like that. I like vanilla on the tube. That's funny. Vanilla is definitely one of my fetishes. When I eat vanilla ice cream, it's like a orgasmic experience for me. I love vanilla.
Oh dear God! Really?
Yes.
Is this a Starfleet Boy after? This is a Starfleet Boy pre-doc.
This is what happens when Starfleet Boy has a cold and is trying to recover.
Now Braxton had to weigh in now.
I'm imagining Charlie Boy partying with leather bears. I have partied with leather bears. It's not a.
This is your hashtag beer pack, right?
For those of you who are more conservative or perhaps fearful, the fetish community is very warm and welcoming, and it's not. In fact, if I'm not, well, I don't know if I can't call out anyone specifically because, I'm not sure they'd want to be mentioned on there. But there's some famous fetishy Star Trek people, and there's like a lot of Star Trek fetishes. I feel like that I might. Secretly harbor. Anyways,
I'm going to continue on with what you're saying, but I'm going to not derail it too much. It's just that I dissociate very much so like the sexual activities of life with Star Trek, and I wouldn't see them related. Like I wouldn't personally dress up or cosplay as a Star Trek character for sexual purposes. You know what I mean? And I know that's just me. I mean, people do whatever the hell they want, but that's me. I don't feel comfortable doing that because I get attached to characters. I get very much attached to these characters that I watch, and then I would just feel strange either trying to portray them or like having a sexual encounter with them. You know what I mean? Sometimes I
I
even
think
feel
one of
uncomfortable watching like characters that I've seen for like 7 years have like a sex scene in a show. I'm like, it's like watching a friend have sex. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to see that.
this got really hot, this conversation. Thanks for sharing all that information. We're different opinions definitely on this subject, but I think
This isn't even opinions though. This is just like sentiment, I guess. This is feeling, right?
yeah. I'm all for it. I'm all for, if Starfleet Boy, which by the way, today I'm
If
coffee boy.
some
You should have been
if
you should
someone
have been
said
cake on the
if
tube.
someone said be my Spock,
I'd be so down. And I, we want to keep it PG-13 here, so maybe we'll expand
all
on
right,
this topic on
we'll
Starfleet.
move back. We'll move back on to
Oh my
we'll
gosh!
keep
Look,
it PG-13.
Phil. Oh
We'll
my.
keep it PG-13 and talk about Badgie ripping people's arms off
Let's go back to Let's
because
go back to violence.
that got
A
real
subject
violent in
everyone loves.
Bajor. He got real intense. He was really spooky.
Sorry, we can't leave without this. With this, we can't leave this topic without this comment from Valerie. I'm dressed up as Will Clinton right now. That was a better way to end that topic. Tune in for more on Starfleet After Dark. And we want to take this moment to say that if you're watching this, don't forget to smash the like button so we can confound the algorithm with all of our, smash it with all of our sex
I
stuff.
want to know. You were supposed to talk less. Hey. No, I want to know what. No ratings yet, but did you enjoy this episode like the most, or was this just kind of like a? Because you said that I don't know. It was shocking. My initial reactions were shocking to you or something.
No. I didn't say that. I hope I didn't suggest that. I'm not going to tell you my opinion about where it ranks until the ending.
Oh, God. But you mentioned my shoulder move or my shrug or something.
Oh, I just found that amusing because it was the first time I'd ever. I guess I have to turn the camera on to really do it to show you what it looked like to me, but I'm not going to because I'm self-conscious now. But no, I think what I was surprised that the chain was broken for you. I wasn't like shocked because I wasn't shocked because I might have
it was going up and then
right.
Yeah.
And like I know what you mean because like it's not my favorite so far either.
Oh, he said it. He said it.
Yeah, I gave it away.
But we'll see where it's still very fun. It's this is like the sentiment that I was sharing with PJ is that there's a lot of episodes in many Star Treks that are just fine. They're not what will define Star Trek for generations to come, but they're not garbage, not boring. They're just a fun watch. You enjoy the characters and the plot. The plot works well enough, but you won't necessarily like. They're not, they won't. I suppose come to mind immediately when you start thinking of Star Trek. Not everything is a Darmok or The Visitor, right?
right.
And this is one of those episodes to me. It's like it was fun. Like the thing that got me the most, I suppose, was damn, I hate Fletcher.
Yeah, I think Fletcher was really interesting because he was there was this whole thing between what was interesting about this episode, and I think maybe at the end of this discussion, who knows what my final rating will be, because should I tell you what my rating started out with to see if it's different, or do you want me to just wait till the ending to tell you?
I think you should write it on a piece of paper or something.
Well, yeah, but you won't be able to see it anyways because it's not. Anyways,
you'll tell me at the end, and I'll believe you.
All right, good. You'll tell me at the end, and I'll believe you. Thank you. That's. I really appreciate that from one of my best mates. Thank you. Anyways, I loved that Boimler and Mariner had that really cool moment where they like acknowledged that they were working as a team for once, like, and it's because they had a common enemy, which was this Fletcher guy who's like totally. But I want to know, like, what I think what turned me on. Ironically, the reason why I like this episode is probably also the reason why I dislike the episode. I thought Fletcher was over the top. I couldn't believe that anyone who had reached that level of like, as an ensign in Starfleet would be so,
How did he
but
get through academy training, right?
I mean, he must be really good because Boimler remembered him as being some like taking one for like for the team, like when he saved him against the Nausigans or something. So like I think under something happened and he just cracked under pressure at this point, or something happened. Like we saw him. He's an interesting character, but like I just was kind of like baffled by his like it was too much. Like when he was like I'll take you down with me, and this whole thing, like it's like couldn't he see that like his threats were hollow and that no one was gonna like no one was going down with him. It was all gonna be him. It's like
there's a radical turn, I think, halfway through the episode with the character, because original like when you first introduced to Fletcher, he's kind of one of those basic characters. Yeah, PJ, I loved him. He's one of those basic characters, right? Which is he's a bit douchey, he's a bit dull, he's a bit slow, but he's very nice. And even if he doesn't really know how to do the job, he's always there for you and he'll stand by you. And that's kind of like what I was expecting. And I was like, oh my God, this guy. But I thought we're gonna have to deal with this guy he's a complete moron, but he's got a good heart. But then this episode takes a turn and shows you that he's not like that. He's actually pretty selfish, because in his idiocy, all he wants to do is protect himself and his own interests. He just doesn't want to get fired, or he doesn't want to get court-martialed, and he will even throw his friends under the bus to do that.
Yeah, it was really terrible. Don't be a Fletcher. Everyone
don't
like
be a Fletcher. Dear God. And I thought Edward. I thought the trouble was with Edward. The trouble's with Fletcher, boys. Come on.
They're kind of okay. So this is interesting, actually, that you bring up Edward, because you were kind of sympathetic towards Edward. You thought the captain was a total jerk, right?
Yeah, I thought Edward was. No, here's the thing. I think Edward in that short tricks is a moron and he's an idiot. But I think that they made the captain so insufferable, it undercut that. And so you have this captain which wasn't professional at all. And I think they should have, like, if the whole short tricks had been done but with Pike, and Pike was very professional and he wasn't, calling him names and what have you, then it would have enhanced the idiocy of Edward for me. But the fact that they had this captain and they made her so unprofessional and annoying, it was horrible.
Can you think of an example? Can you think of No, but Barclay would never. It didn't seem like Barclay would ever resort to.
What's his face from Good Shepherd? All right, in Voyager they have the Lower Decks episode, and there's Good Shepherd, right? And there's that one guy there's one guy that doesn't want to be on the ship.
PJ likes all these characters that we're like hating on right now. Sorry, PJ.
There's this one guy in Good Shepherd in Voyager. Out of the three, there's one of them that doesn't want to be on the ship. And he said, I was doing my 6 months on Voyager because I had to do 6 months on a ship before getting transferred to a space station or whatever. And he doesn't like working with teams. He's always negative, always very cynical. And he doesn't, you know what I mean?
And the difference is Fletcher I thought it was interesting that Fletcher kind of
they're good at their job. Fletcher's not, I suppose. Or he just gets by, maybe?
Maybe he gets by. I don't know about...
Maybe Starfleet has faith. Starfleet has hope. Starfleet tries to elevate some people, and then it doesn't work. When you get transferred to the Titan, and Riker's like, nah. I'm assuming it's Riker.
Well, that's the funny thing. Yeah, the funny thing is that I think that it's also interesting that the Cerritos is so loose that a Fletcher would be totally like fine there, but transfer he doesn't last more than 6 days on the Titan. You know what I mean? Like it's like I think that's interesting. I also thought that was a weird solution, was to get him promoted. Did you see how scared he looked at the end, like when he was getting promoted in that scene? They like had a party.
That was a diabolical Mariner plan, wasn't it?
Right.
And I think that was good. I very much enjoyed Mariner and Boimler in this episode.
Yeah, they were so good in this episode.
There's a lot going on, and I know it's not the most like the things that kind of stand out and the things that are kind of in your face are Badgie, the Fletcher, There's the whole scavengers in space. But what really got me was Mariner and Boimler and their relationship of just being friends. It's like we're starting to really see these characters develop, and I can see myself for the next 7 years appreciating their adventures and getting emotional when it comes to the end of the show. Right? Like I see that. You need to make more episodes, Mike McMahon.
Actually,
10 is not enough.
let's fast forward to season 7 of, or whatever, whenever it ends. You know, like the last season of Star Trek Lower Decks, right? Because one thing that this
Did
like,
you read that comment?
no, wait, let me see. Let's see here. All right. Okay. So Edward seemed autistic to me, a genius with zero social skills, whereas Fletcher seems straight up cognitively disabled and out of place on a Starfleet ship. Wow, that's harsh, Ian. Wow. Those. So
I do agree. I do agree with the fact that Fletcher did seem completely out of place on a Starfleet ship. He seemed.
So I want to take this moment to say that I know a few autistic people who are high functioning, and so you can be autistic. So I see where you're coming from, Ian, but I just think Edward was just something.
Did Barclay have a form of autism, or did he just
I don't
have?
know that they addressed it. I don't know that any Star Trek has addressed autism in a direct,
You mean,
specific way, like where a character is identified as somewhere on the spectrum. I'd have to really, I don't know, our audience might know, but I can't.
It's interesting because often when I think it's something that really professionals need to figure out, because when I read like descriptions of autism, I'm like, that feels like me sometimes. But I mean, it's pretty vague. I reckon.
You feel like descriptors for autism match you?
Yeah, and yes.
Well, if that's the case, you're definitely a high functioning autistic individual, because the thing about some forms of, I think a lot of forms of autism that are the ones that people recognize are the ones that are very extreme. Like Rain Man is an example of that. So that's interesting that you. But yeah, autism is a huge spectrum, and there's a lot of people.
That's what I was trying to say.
They're high functioning.
Ruben says technically we are all autistic. It's just it's a very wide spectrum. That's what I was trying to say. Like, it's not specifically about me. It's more that I feel like the definition is so wide that it can apply to a very big variety of people, I suppose. So Barclay, but maybe Barclay just had really a hard time interacting socially.
Barclay would be the only person, and maybe Tilly, that I would say that have characteristics that stood out to me as potentially indicative of their that they have some form of autism.
Oh, I took Tilly as annoying.
I mean, that's sadly, those are stereotypes that are associated with autistic people, because sometimes their form of autism may cause them to repeat things a lot. Some of the things that we typically would find annoying, and so yeah, I see. Like there are things like that.
I've had autistic friends in the schools that I grew up with in France, and grew up in France and New Zealand. I actually find them to be more agreeable than most people that are not, because they're much more direct in the way they speak. I find it very hard to decipher what people mean sometimes. They say things, but there's like 50 layers to what they're saying and what they truly mean. Whereas I found that the people that were autistic, they would just say what they mean.
That's an interesting topic to explore, I think. Yeah.
It's much easier to kind of like connect with them.
Oh, Starbase.
Yeah, send him to Starbase 80. I love the guy that's like in the background, like, oh, Starbase 80. You don't see him, you just hear him. It was brilliant.
I didn't mean to interrupt you. I know what you were saying.
No, I was gonna say that no one in my class was autistic, but it was often like the siblings. They had an older brother or they had a younger sister, that kind of stuff. And some I stayed in contact with, over the years. Some less. Others things happened, but yeah, they were always so kind.
I think the general consensus is that everyone seems to be on somewhere on that spectrum, and to varying degrees. Even the most charismatic people have socializing deficits somewhere. They just hide it
We're all actors.
on a stage. All the world's a stage. But wait, so I was trying to
Actors
lead us
life.
into the direction of which it seems like you didn't want to go there in the conversation to wrap it up. Kind of, is their futures, like all of their futures, like
I'm not going there.
huh?
I'm not going there. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
You're like no, but Boimler admits that his dream gig is aboard the Titan, so that made my brain light up because I was like, I want him to get his dream gig, and that means he could.
I
If they
want a
do,
live action Jack. I want a live action Jack Quaid.
that's what I just tweeted about. It's like
To hold hands, to shake hands with Jonathan Frakes. Welcome to the Titan.
I think, as a matter of fact, I'm going to take it a little further. I think both Boims and Mariner are going to end up on the Titan, and I think that Mariner is going to be like Riker's protege, and Boimler is going to be Troy's protege. That would be like my idea. Look at your face. Hold on. Let's do that again. Do it again. Hold on. I'll say it again.
I couldn't do it again. It was a one-time thing. It's gone. You'll have to go back and do a screen grab.
Howdy to Stress Free K, and welcome to the stream. Indeed. All right. So you don't agree with that? You don't think that? Where would Mariner end up?
I neither agree nor disagree. I just don't know what to think of it. I'm like Mariner when she says, "I don't know what to do with this." In the episode, like she's like, she does this, and she said, "I don't know what to do with it."
I have another. What I would like is Geordi and Rutherford together at some point. Maybe not necessarily. I don't know. We don't know what Geordi's doing in the time of Picard, but somewhere along the lines, I would love to see a short treks or something where Rutherford and Geordi are kind of like teaming up on a project or something like that, and they get to be there. And who do you think I paired up with Tendi?
I don't know. Well, Crusher maybe.
Dr. Crusher, yes. Like I would love it if she ends up serving on the Pasteur with Dr. Crusher. She could be. Why? Why not? Picard gets to have Soji and Rios, and like how many little mentees does Picard have? I think they all deserve.
Friends have. Why does he get all these new friends?
Yeah, like why can't Crusher have Tendi, and why can't like come on, like that? It would be really cool to have a live action transition with these characters.
I would enjoy Rutherford to become friends with Geordi because they connect.
Yeah, question for you too. Where are they in the time of Picard?
So LaForge and Rutherford become friends, and Rutherford is in a relationship with, like, he's married maybe to Tendi, and Tendi's mother, which is single for some reason, meets Geordi, right? And finally, Geordi gets someone. He's
with Leah Phillips.
No, he's not.
Yes,
she's married.
He's 100. No, she left her husband.
Bullshit.
It didn't work out.
No.
Okay, he died. The husband got lost.
Oh my god! He got sent to Starbase 80. He never came
what
back.
About Ariam and Rutherford? Surely Lord X could bring her back without much. That would be crazy if they find poor Ariam because they left her floating out there. No, they didn't. Yeah, they sent her out. They buried her in space, didn't they? Didn't they torpedo her out?
Stop bringing people back.
Stress Free K, stop it. Stop bringing people back, Julia.
Death has less meaning when we bring people back all the time.
Although in the case of Data, it had more meaning when we brought him back and killed him a second time, in my opinion.
To you.
Yes, that's right.
Stress Free K is now puzzled because we yelled at him. I'm sorry. The stream
keeps PJ said the stream keeps cutting out. Sorry, I'm not sure what it is. I apologize to you. But anyways, we're wrapping up. I think it's time.
I hope the replay will have no problems.
Yeah, I hope so too. By the way, before we do wrap up, I also want to say once again, thank you everyone for coming to our streams. It's really fun, and I want to just reiterate something that Sean points out. And I also like to point this out. If during these tough times, if you want to chat, just talk to us. Let us know how you're feeling, and We're here for you. Anyways, thank you.
You can be dull. You can be dumb.
You
You
can
can
love Fletcher.
be smart. Yeah, you can be a Fletcher. You can be a Mariner. You can be a Freeman. You can be whoever the hell you want. We will talk to you.
Oh, they could have some Lower Decks characters. Did I already say this? No. Referenced in Discovery Season 3, the Lower Decks character could turn out to be the ones responsible for destroying them. That's terrible. Oh my gosh, that would be...
I have now seen all of the Star Trek Day 2020 panels, and it was pretty much explained that the Federation did not destroy itself. There was no implosion of the Federation. The Federation did nothing wrong to itself. It was the burn, as they describe. The events that destroyed the Federation is called the burn, and it was something exterior. So something else happened to the Federation. All right. Which I appreciate.
It's really interesting to see what happens to the Federation.
I really like that. I really, because I was really afraid they were going to go in this direction of like, bigotry came back, or like the kind of things that Picard were doing with like, we don't want to help anyone else. We don't want to help the Roman. I was afraid that and then the Federation crumbled on itself. No,
Fletcher gets mad for being fired and sets all the Federation's stars on fire. Like has them supernova simultaneously, and that's why it's called the burn.
The burn.
No one should have been mean to Fletcher. Don't be mean.
No, it's Badgie.
Badgie did.
Badgie got loose.
By the way, the Lower Deck shirts. I'm part of the subscription to that, and the next one, the one for this episode, is Badgie, which is really great. I can't wait to wear my Badgie shirt. And I also want to say that you and Gary need to work your asses off because Star Trek just released the new timeline video. Have you seen it? And it's cool.
I haven't seen the video. But...
AF, it's really good, and it gave me huge goosebumps. And someone at the Museum of Pop Culture in Seattle had something to do with it. 2 people that were thanked in the credits. So I really appreciated that because they do cool stuff. You've never been to Seattle, right, Sean?
No.
If you go to the Mopop, they're huge on Star Trek there, of course, because Star Trek's a big part of pop culture. During the 50th anniversary, they had so much cool. They had a great exhibit with all the screen models and like all kinds of props and things like that. And they also had a store with. I bought so much. I mean, I try not to have too much Star Trek merch, but I couldn't resist. I bought like I bought like isolinear chips. I bought coasters, like like
you gotta.
You gotta. It's like I couldn't resist.
You go there with your money and your pockets full, right? That's what you do, and then you come back with bags of junk, and you're like, "Why have I bought all this stuff?" But you gotta. I would very much enjoy having the little Moriarty thing on the disc.
Oh, that would be a really cool thing to have.
Sometimes I'll tap it. How you doing?
Big baddie. I have a ton of ideas, including Fletcher's computer improvements. It's true. It could totally be a thing. Fletcher and Badgie team up. That's what it is. That's what it's going to be.
An alien, of course, that dissed the Federation so bad they imploded because it's the burn.
I feel like there's a new
Federation. Your mom's so fat.
I feel like there's a new Trek on the Tube rap video that needs to happen called The Burn. The Burn. I fear that Badgie will return as well, just like the obsequious Microsoft Clippy. Yes.
Yeah, I feel like there'll be a season 2. There'll be a season 2. Badgie is the evil Morty of Star Trek Lower Decks, for those that watch Rick and Morty.
Ah, okay, gotcha. Interesting. All right, it's time to wrap it up.
Or the Duras sisters, the Duras family.
My original rating for this episode was a 10.
Wow. Okay, but now it's a 1.
10.1.
What? It's the same rating ultimately.
No.
This is stupid.
Father, I just tweeted about it a little while ago, but it's on StarTrek.com. The official Star Trek just tweeted about it. Did you see how
So
nicely I segued out of my shame? You were going to shame me for my rating.
these timeline videos that they do, we don't need to make new timeline graphics anymore. Are they doing their job?
I think a static image will. I think you still have a purpose. I was
okay.
gonna say, yeah, like this is a video. This is like a. That's what I'm saying. Like
Okay.
if you
Okay,
now,
so we still have a purpose. We can
now
still.
if you had a website with your timeline image on it, and when you clicked on it, it took you to like what all these like cool moments. That would be pretty awesome.
That is how Star Trek social media and Star Trek's online presence should be handled.
But I'm just saying you could beat them too.
I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to do any of
I don't know
this.
how to do that.
I am the creative. I have the ideas. I
Just
can
go to
tell
the
them what,
holodeck and ask Badgie to teach you.
I can scream orders at them. Do it
Badgie,
like this. Do it like that. But then I don't know how to do it. I'm incompetent.
you scream orders. You don't make requests.
That's why I'm not a captain yet.
Is that what happens? I thought you made requests. One last thing I wanted to say that I didn't get to say. I think the reason I rated it lower and it wasn't my new favorite episode was, among other things, I was kind of disheartened that like, first of all, that like I just thought that it was great laughs, and I also couldn't have thought of a different way of doing it. I think that like I might have also tried to get Fletcher transferred out of my life because he's so difficult. But it was disappointing that was the solution, and that also that like, you know, up until now they were like all the lower deckers stick together, and then this is the first time where she was like, well, some lower deckers we don't really want to help, you know, like we only help certain lower deckers. So there was like this kind of sadness to it, but at the same time it was great and it was funny and I loved it.
There has to be a back and forth in life. I find it's not fair if you do everything for someone and someone does nothing for you.
This is true.
And sometimes it'll take a while. Sometimes it'll take a while to get the give back because maybe they're going through a rough spot, or you take it upon yourself to really help the person through this. But there has to be a give back at some point. And Fletcher was never going to give. He's just a take.
I agree with this. That
so he can
the Fletcher AI
he can bugger off.
He can bugger off. I also agree with. I think Badgie's bad personality is from an imprint of Fletcher, while the safeties were off. I agree about that as well. We got
maybe
Badgie is an incredibly violent and psychotic character. I think he should be featured in the future Tarantino. I agree. This was Tarantino Trek. This was a preview of Tarantino Trek. That's what Badgie was there to do. I agree.
Badgie should be the Thanos of the Star Trek universe. Like all of the shows build towards the big fight against Badgie.
That was so brutal. Thank goodness they were holographic people. But could you imagine if Badgie had done that to like
That's what I was saying. It's fine because they're holographic people. I would have not been okay with this episode if they had been to Bayshore and shredded these poor creative artistic people.
Thank God he didn't have a hollow emitter like the Doctor.
Oh my God! Don't give him a hollow emitter. Just Badgie floating around in space.
We got that would mean that Rutherford has issues if he programmed Badgie that way, but I think it was definitely what's his face interfering. And then finally, that's how it works in real life workplaces. The staff would totally undermine peeps they feel are out of step. Interesting. It's true. That does happen. Joseph came in. Joseph, welcome to the end. This is the end.
We're gonna say goodbye and then you can go back.
No, we haven't gotten Trek on the Tube's rating yet.
Oh yes.
And audience, what's your rating of this episode?
Maybe
Scale of 1 to 10.
I don't know if I want to 6.5.
All right.
That would make it the lowest of the season.
I don't know. I don't actually remember your ratings after we do them.
Well, I haven't given anything yet, so
I don't even remember my ratings after we.
Yeah, I'll give it a 6.5.
6.5.
One of those average episodes, but it had a few comedy moments that I appreciated. Starbase 80 has become a meme now.
It should. No worries, Rewind. Thank you for watching us in the Rewind. We hope you enjoy it just as much as it was live. We got a 7.5 from Stress Free K. That was good. So excellent. So right around, above average. Also, you're above average. Average would be a 5. So this was an above average episode. So very good.
Well, average is like competent. It was competently made, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like this was worth like I got fun out of it. I got fun out of it, and
we gotta have fun discussion.
PJ knows all the names of all of the voice actors, all the actors that did the voices for the guest the guest appearances here. I forget them all. Martok, the actor behind Martok, did the scavenger.
Oh, that's totally right, JG Hertzler. We forgot to mention that. Oh, thank you for bringing that up. Very good.
And of course, the voices of Badgie and the voices of they're famous as well. And I forget their names, but they're very like all of the voice acting is impeccable, and it's very good.
That our conversation made Stress Free K feel better about this episode too. That's awesome. And we got another 7.5.
Look, there has to be a lowest episode eventually in the season.
Hey,
right? It doesn't mean it's bad.
Someone agrees with me. A 10-point win.
You can't give him this. You can't give him the win.
Lower Decks has set a pretty high bar for itself. It's true.
It has.
This is my LDS scale. It's true. 10 to 11. Everyone else is 1 to 10, but it's true. Oh, Shishan girl, you know me so well. Thank you. All right. On that note, audience, thank you for being with us this whole time. We really appreciate it. We appreciate those of you who are watching us on the Rewind. I think Robbie might be one of those folks, and thank you, Joseph.
On the replay.
On the review. If you're still here and you haven't, please smash the like button so we can confound the algorithm. We've got to confound it.
That sounds like a Larry Nemec thing to say.
What, confound the algorithm?
Yeah, that sounds like a Larry Nemec thing.
Did he say
I don't know. That just sounds like him. He would say that. That sounds like a topic, like on one of his Trickland Tuesdays or whatever it is. Like,
well, I mean,
how can Star Trek confound the algorithm?
I think you would agree with me, Toddy, that I don't know why I just called you Toddy. I never call you Toddy out loud, but
I don't know. You just threw it out there.
Tubi. I like Tubi. Didn't I? Wasn't I standing for Tubi?
I don't know if I like Toddy. I think I prefer Toddy to Tubi, but okay.
Toddy Tubi is a little tubular. I think the Fletcher, the YouTube algorithm was taken over by Fletcher, and it doesn't do the right things. It like puts the wrong channels in the highlights. So we have to confound it. We have to get those likes up, and we got to get Trek on the Tube to his next goal, which is 10,000 subscribers. So if you can help get him there, right?
I don't 10,000. My next goal is 1 million. I'll go from 8,000 to 1 million. Boom. How do you feel about that?
Well, you'll get invited to those parties like with Ninja and iJustine and PewDiePie, and if you do, you have to answer +1.
The day any Star Trek specific channel makes it to 1 million on YouTube is a day for celebration.
I agree, but
that would be
also
amazing.
Today's a day of celebration because one of our favorite channels, Ketwalski, reached 20K subs. Yay! Yay! Bear Pack. Hashtag Bear Pack. Also, go check out Trek on the Tube. go check out Trek on the Tube's channel, where you can find reviews for all of Star Trek. You can find interesting videos about the species of Star Trek. You can find some collaborations in his collaborate. I have to update my collabs list, by the way. And then also go check out Boat Wreck, PJ, who we kind of hop around on all these channels. All of us hop around on each other's channels. It's so much fun. Text Trek. Check out, we might as well just say everyone, right? Kurt Ratz, Jesse Gender, Triangulum Studios, German Trekkie, Continue Trek, A Question of Trek. That's a good name. Steve Shives. Is Steve Shives considered a Star Trek channel? He doesn't just do Star Trek content, but he's cool. He does a lot of Star Trek.
Enough, to be honest. I don't know him enough, but Dan Gunther, Kurt Ratz.
Yes. Thank you for doing your part, Joseph. And Confound the Algorithm. Great band. Ooh, that is a great band name. It's true.
It also sounds like a Muse song.
By the way, thank you. I wanted to mention a question of Trek. Toddy, you got to come back on sometime. It's a great fun, and now it has a
Have you
channel.
won?
I won finally. Yes. Last episode, it was with Robbie. Robbie was my.
You get a bridge clap.
I do. I get a bridge clap. Thank you. Wow, we haven't done a bridge clap in a long ass time.
I haven't done a bridge clap. But Discovery's back, so we'll have plenty of bridge claps.
That's true.
All right, Braxton's off. That is our cue as well. We're off.
Can you hold up 2 live long and prospers for me? 1 for me.
I don't know how to do it with this hand.
Oh wow! There you go.
It's kind of. There you go. Is that good enough?
Audience, and we'll see.
This one's coming from you.
What's that?
The good one's coming from you. All right.